She's at home wondering where the hell I am.
Well, speaking of your wife, we actually have her on the line, so... Hey, Pam, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So I have your husband sitting here, and we just got to the part where he was shot in the head. Now he's in the hospital. You don't know where he's at. Can you kind of walk us through a sequence of events on what happened from your perspective and also how you were treated after your husband's just been shot in the head?
Sure. Usually Don beats me home from work. So as the hours went by and I could not reach him by phone or text, every hour that ticked by I was getting more concerned, scared, obviously extremely worried. It was raining really hard that night, so I had no idea what happened. I just knew something was wrong. I literally got to a point where I called every hospital in Georgia and was told that he was not at any of the hospitals I called. A few of them I actually called twice because I thought the response that I got when I called was a little off. Anyways, finally, my son became as worried as I was after, obviously the hours went by. And we figured out Don's password finally. And my son and I tracked his phone.
You found him by tracking his phone?
Yes.
And Don's not a bar hopper or anything, like he's not a drinker.
No,
He definitely wasn't at the bar. You know 100% something's going on.
Exactly. There's no doubt in my mind. I knew I could sense something was wrong, but I just had no idea what. We pinged his phone, and it pinged behind a fire station. So I, of course, looked up the number and called the fire station right away. Told them my husband has been missing since 3 o'clock in the afternoon was the last time I spoke with him. And his phone is pinging behind your fire station. I said, can you please tell me what's behind the fire station? And the fireman told me that it was a holding lot. And we've never had any contact at all with the police at all. So I said to him, what is a holding lot? I had no idea.
How long had he been missing at this point?
This was about 1 o'clock in the morning that we finally pinged his phone.
Okay. And Dom, were you conscious at all at this time? Completely out.
I don't remember any of that. They had me on morphine drip.
Yeah. The fireman actually put me on hold and got me the number to the police department, and then I called the police department. And I never called the police department before this because Don's never been in any type of trouble, so I knew he wasn't going to be at a police department, That was just totally out of line. My thing was with the weather situation that, something might have happened.
What police department did you contact?
It was the Monroe County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
And so I called there and actually spoke to a Corporal Benson. And my son, of course, was with me this whole time. We had this guy on speakerphone. And, Corporal Benson told me that they had my husband and they were processing him, but he was injured, but they're processing him. And so me never dealing with, like I said, the police before, I assumed Don was at the police department, and he had a cut on his hand or something. I had no clue. And I said, is there a reason that he hasn't been able to? Is there a reason he hasn't called me yet?
They mean processing as in processing like you're going to jail?
Exactly. Exactly.
And you don't know he's been shot in the head at this point?
Oh, no. Oh,
Okay.
no, I have no idea. I'm literally thinking that he's at the jail and I'm assuming he's got a cut on his hand or something, you know. I have no clue. And, anyways, I had asked, you know, is there a reason he hasn't been able to call me yet? Because here I am, scared to death of what's happened. And he said, oh, man, sometimes this takes some time. I was like, okay, and I hung up the phone with this guy, not knowing what else to ask or, you know. Anyways, I called back about 10 minutes later and said, hey, when is visitation hours tomorrow? Because I'm thinking I will be at the police department 10 minutes before I can go see him and find out what in the hell is going on. And then I'm informed by this corporal that Don is not there and I cannot go see him. And I'm like, sir, I just hung up the phone with you. You know, you told me you're processing my husband and he's injured. And he said, yes, ma'am, but he's not here. He's at the hospital. And I screamed, he's at the hospital? He said, yes, ma'am, he's been shot in the head.
Holy shit.
And I literally hit the floor. Started screaming, is he alive? And I don't know why I said this, but I said, can he talk? Weird things go through your mind in these situations. And anyways, and put me on hold for about, it seemed like 5 minutes or so, and he came back and he said, your husband is alive. And I said, well, I said to my son, and he could hear, I'm going to put jeans on. And said, you need to stop. You will be arrested if you go anywhere near the hospital.
They were going to arrest you.
Arrest me
To go
or my son if we went anywhere near the hospital.
to visit your husband who was just shot in the head.
Yes.
So what did they tell you to do? Anything?
He told me that I had to wait until 8 o'clock the next morning when investigator or lieutenant would be able to answer some questions for us. I asked if there was a reason why investigator and our lieutenant hadn't called me at that point, you know, before this time. And I was told that, well, ma'am, it was shift change.
Oh, shit.
And I was just floored. Needless to say, I was up all night worried to death about my husband who had just been told he was shot in the head.
Wow.
At 8 o'clock the next morning, I was on the phone with investigator and he told me, he won't believe this. He said, your husband's a career criminal with a rap sheet as long as your arm. He said he has several felony charges, including drug convictions, so he's not even legally allowed to possess a gun.
Holy shit.
And the whole time he's telling me this, I'm crying, of course. And Anderson then proceeds to tell me what he thought happened to Don, which turned out to be as inaccurate as the background check that they pulled on my husband.
So they pulled the wrong rap sheet on your husband and told you that he was a career criminal after he'd been shot in the head, and nobody's seen him yet other than the doctor and the officer who's guarding his hospital room that you're not allowed to go see.
Exactly. And then told me that Don was at a local trauma center, and he again repeated that if my son or I went anywhere near the hospital, we would be arrested.
Holy shit.
I was telling nonstop through this that is not my husband. You've got the wrong man. I told him, we've been married over 30 years. You've got the wrong guy here. Something's not right. And this person proceeded to tell me that if I'd been married to this career criminal as long as I told him I had been, that he found it hard to believe that I wasn't aware of his criminal record.
Wow.
Then Anderson proceeded to tell me that my husband had been shot in the head. He will be having surgery, and they will be putting a metal plate in his head. And if we go anywhere near the hospital, we'll be arrested.
So what?
I literally stood up and hit the floor. When I could finally talk, I was literally screaming. Sorry.
That's okay.
They're going to put a plate in his head. They're going to put a plate in his head. I stood up again and hit the floor again. By the way, he does not have a plate in his head. At 10 a.m., approximately 10 a.m. the next morning, so this is now about 18 hours after my husband had been shot, I was got a phone call from that said something that came to light, and I could go to ICU and see my husband.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.